And what he's telling this person here locally that things are going to start to come unraveled here in August. So it's just a word to the wise. And Lindsay, I know you said before in the past, get your family ready, get your food ready, get your water, gas, probably, pull money out of an ATM, get it out of the bank, before things do get bad. But that's the information that we're getting from this man in China. And he said that things will start to come unraveled here in August. So I want to just throw that out. And that's just, we're talking 5.5 months.
Well, notice they've been telling us that the recovery's been great in the last 2 years, even though we're in a depression. And now they're telling us, oh, the Arabs, it's going to cause a meltdown. Appreciate your call, John. Any comments on what John said, Lindsay?
I was given these exact words, and I'll quote them word for word, verbatim. I said it on Alex Jones' show about 2 years ago. He said to me, China is the big one. Alex, you'll remember me saying that on your show. He went on to explain what's going to happen with China, how that Daddy Bush brought them out from the closed society of many years ago, and they moved our industry abroad. And he used the expression and went on to explain to me what's going to happen. China is the big one, Alex.
Absolutely. Let's try to jam in some more calls here. Let's talk to Jack in Michigan. You're on the air with Pastor Lindsey Williams.
Yes, Pastor Williams, I did read your book, The Energy Non-Crisis, and my question is, which government agency told the Alaska pipeline to only build 2 pipelines instead of 12? That's my first question. And the second one is You wrote another book called Where is the Food, your first book. Can you get us still a copy of that book somewhere?
No, it's out of print.
All of those books are presently out of print. Let me answer your question. First of all, one day I was with one of these elitists. We had spent quite some time together that day riding around the North Slope. And I asked him, I said, look at all these ecologists out here. And I said, they're costing you thousands of dollars of trying to produce this oil pipeline. I said, I understand that you actually give money to support them, the Sierra Club and Greenpeace and all the rest of them. He said, Chaplain, we give to the Democratic Party, we give to the Republican Party, we give to Greenpeace, we give to Sierra Club. He said we give every one of them big amounts every year. He said we do it because regardless of who gets in, Democrats or Republicans, we can control the whole thing on either side. Now, you say who did what they did that day? I'll tell you who did it. The oil companies wanted to see to it that oil was not given to the American people until they took it to $200 a barrel.
Yeah, the oil companies did it, and the government backs it up with the fake environmental movements that are paid for by the oil companies on record to shut down their competition.
I was utterly amazed when this man told me how they do these things, because remember, I've been a pastor for 12 years. I was brought up in a wonderful, godly home, and all of a sudden to hear people talk about supporting both sides so they can totally control them. Well, all they did was they had backed the president in the previous
That's
election.
what they did. Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to talk to you again very, very soon. Thank you so much. We're going to come back with Aaron Dykes with a special report.
For centuries, silver has been used as a powerful natural antibiotic, and as a listener to this station, you probably already know the benefits of using colloidal silver. With so many websites to choose from, finding a reputable, patriotic company with great products at affordable prices can be a difficult task. Introducing UtopiaSilver.com. UtopiaSilver.com carries the best, most effective, and most affordable colloidal silver and colloidal gold products in the industry. UtopiaSilver.com also carries products to fit your lifestyle, including weight loss, immune system defense, cleanses, herbs, joint and bone care, and much more. First-time customers using promo code GCN50 will receive 50% off all colloidal products. Visit us today at Utopia Silver, that's UTOPIA Silver, utopiasilver.com, or call 888-213-4338. That's 888-213-4338. UtopiaSilver.com, taking back America's healthcare one American at a time.
They helped to create a new world order.
We are part of a new world order.
A new world order based upon collective action.
Invisible Empire is a damning indictment of the globalists through their own words and documents.
The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It means all the world under their control.
The United Nations would take over America. The Trilateral Commission would control the world.
Invisible Empire chronicles how men of power and influence have worked in stealth for centuries to establish an oppressive world government.
I believe, first of all, that we now need nothing short of a world constitution for the global financial system.
Global governance with the establishment of the G20.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
Invisible Empire. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or watch it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. There's a man named Dr. Wallach who is anything but your typical doctor. Both a veterinarian and naturopathic physician, Doc asks, why does the United States spend more money on health care by far and still rank 50th in health and longevity worldwide? He believes that people should empower themselves with a basic understanding of nutrition, taking charge of their life, and attain optimal health and longevity through nutrition, not by toxic prescription drugs leading to side effects. This is clearly a deadly recipe. The good news is Doc Wallach's message is resonating with an increasing number of Americans who are waking up to all the big government and big pharma manipulation of our healthcare system. I like what Doc Wallach is saying and doing to enlighten people about healthcare and have joined forces to help this tireless crusader spread his message. Visit InfoWarsTeam.com and listen to Dr. Wallach's Deadly Recipes lecture. It makes a lot of sense, and I want you to join our InfoWars team. Go to InfoWarsTeam.com. That's InfoWarsTeam.com.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
All right, we're live into overdrive, into the fourth hour. It is the 9th day on this Wednesday of March 2011. Aaron Dykes is with us here. A few months ago, during the big ice storms and the power outages, the White House responded to us on whitehouse.gov, the communications director, and said we were liars, that Obama hadn't shut down any power plants. So we made a video and wrote articles showing they'd shut dozens and dozens down around the country and, quote, plan to shut down thousands. But again, they think their audience is a bunch of idiots, a bunch of morons, and I guess some of them are. I mean, they'd believe anything. They could tell people jump off a cliff and they'd do it if the government told them. These are cult members. It's like Jim Jones followers. But these people, even those that are attacking them say, oh, they're environmental wackos. They think they're saving the earth. No, they don't. These people are invested in biotech companies openly planning cross-species genetic engineered stuff that actually is endangering the planet. These people are developing all sorts of weapon systems. They could care less. They guilt you into letting them take over markets and industries to vertically integrate it. And then they use it as a tool of control. This is feudalism. This is serfdom. And, now it's in the news. Well, you know what? I'm going to give Aaron Dykes to give us this report, the floor. But every day or two I see, Reuters, Soros, Albright invest $250 million, and the government's helping fund them. And they're setting up, power plants in the U.S. The head of GE gets a waiver on their new power plants. He's the head of the Economic Commission, the President's Council. Just like 1,040 of the insider companies like McDonald's. They don't have to get health insurance, but this year I've got to start getting it. But their companies don't. I mean, it's just pure brazen discrimination. But we only think of discrimination black versus white. Not insiders don't have to pay the taxes, but the local farm has to shut down. I mean, but people are running around, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm black, I'm white. And they have us all fight with each other. Meanwhile, the globalists are a bunch of slimy crooks. So I want to go over the history of the carbon taxes, the sustainability councils, and who they really are. They are literally a mafia, a knuckle-dragging mafia. Let's go over it. Aaron Dykes.
Yeah, Alex, you're absolutely right to bring up the shutdown of the coal plants from back in February, which they denied, but which was happening right here in Texas. And we're the largest coal supplier. We supply to many other states. And it's just like a week and a half ago or whatever it was where they said the era of having on-demand electricity is over. And, people talked about how now we're North Korea. That's because they only allow their people at most 2 hours of power a day. well, they're starving their people. They're starving us in a neo-Malthusian agenda, which is directly tied to Agenda 21. And this all started in a concentrated fashion right after first Bush agreed to the Agenda 21, and then Bill Clinton immediately started the Council for Sustainable Development.
And that was the announcement in '92 in Rio by Maurice Strong about the post-industrial world. I mean, this is their stated goal.
And that was a framework for a whole new society where consumption is over, the Judeo-Christian West is supposedly over, and it's all about this micromanagement by these globalists. And yeah, Bill Clinton in 1993 issued the Agenda 21 through executive order number 12852, directly setting up the Council for Sustainable Development. And it's just amazing because you see directly right there the nexus between these energy giants and the supposed environmental people concerned supposedly about the earth. We're in bed together from the beginning in this Agenda 21 Council set up by Bill Clinton and, of course, continued through the president.
And not about saving whales. Continue.
And it has nothing to do with Obama being supposedly a socialist, because this has been obviously left right all along.
Those terms are all distraction. These are pirates using government to consolidate power and using gaggles of well-meaning socialists who are dependents as political weapons to take over the rest of the economy.
Yeah, because Enron was known for being in bed with the Bush administration and all that, but they were in bed with the Clinton administration long before that, and before they came up with trading carbon dioxide, they were already taxing and trading on sulfur dioxide. So they've been in this game for a long time, but it's important to note that on that Council for Sustainable Development was Ken Lay, was a number of the leading environmental agencies and other people from Enron and other energy companies, and they have just been a part of this whole thing. And
guys, while he's going over these documents, just scoon in and pan back and forth so folks can see that over there. Just scoon in over there. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Go ahead.
Now, again, that Council for Sustainable Development set up by Clinton in '93, of course, really came to a head around '97 with the Kyoto Protocol. And you have not only Ken Lay of Enron, but also John Palmisano of Enron, who was their environmental guy. He put out this memo, which is known among researchers anyway, who cover this, in 1997, saying this Kyoto stuff, this cap and trade stuff is a win. It's winning, winning, winning for Enron and anyone who wants to trade this stuff. Let me read a couple excerpts from that memo from John Palmisano of Enron. If implemented, this agreement would do more to promote Enron's business than will almost any other regulatory initiative outside of restructuring of the energy and natural gas industries in Europe and the United States. On the business front, during the next year, there will be intense positioning of organizations to capture an early lead in the variety of carbon trading businesses. The endorsement of joint implementation is exactly what we've been lobbying for, and it seems like we won. Winning. Sorry, I was just referencing that. The Clean Development Fund will be a mechanism for funding renewable projects. Again, we, this being Enron, won. The endorsement of emissions trading was another victory for us. So you see, Enron was very excited at the implementation of cap and trade because, of course, they helped design the system under the Council for Sustainable Development. And you also see a parallel because, of course, this is a military-industrial complex, not only of government, not only of business, but of these nonprofit groups, of the environmental sector. Now, the John Hines III Center, which is run by John Hines is the late Skull and Bones member. Teresa Hines Carey was his wife, now married to John Kerry, also Skull and Bones. And that center wrote this report in 1998, Designs for Domestic Carbon Emissions Trading, and you see in their members a good half of the staff of the Council on Sustainable Development, including Ken Lay, including John Palmisano, also both of Enron, and you also see Alcoa in that group. You also see the Environmental Defense Fund, who are very important. You see S.C. Johnson Wax.
So it's the big insiders with a gaggle of environmental groups shutting down all their competition.
Yeah, that's it, because as we discussed yesterday, Enron completely used the deregulated energy market in California in the early 2000s to just make a killing.
And there's been some new indictments dealing with carbon tax pump and dump.
Yeah, I have that here. I don't want to jump around too much.
I'm sorry. Go on.
No. I just, February 18th, this was only a few weeks ago, 2011, SEC charges 7 people in a global warming pump and dump scheme. So just like Enron was always part of those pump and dump schemes, here we have people involved in the global warming trading, part of the pump and dump scheme. The Securities and Exchange Commission today charged a group of 7 individuals